So yeah, Ricardo, let's talk for a bit about Let God Sort 'Em Out.
Right. Let's get culturally inappropriate, as they say.
Yes, this is culturally inappropriate, right?
Right.
But yeah, well, just to kick things off, folks, forgive us for the late delivery of this review here. Well, actually, this has to do with how I view the record, to be honest, right? Yeah,
Right.
yes, this came out a week ago, roughly a week or so ago at the time of us recording this. But yeah, on the day that the album was released, this was a few hours after I got the announcement that my dad passed away. So yeah, I just
Right.
practically like spent the whole weekend just in mourning, while everybody else was just singing, their praises over this album, right? So yeah, I literally got the chance to listen to it yesterday while everybody else, put out the, shared videos of like performances or, like songs that were on, there on the Clipse's YouTube channel already. So, I know people
Right.
done share like
Yeah.
almost all the songs already.
Yeah. No. Because the rollout, as everybody praising the rollout for this album and how impressive that was. I mean, they had a tiny desk on the day of release, which is like
Yeah,
really clever and well done. And again, if it's anybody, they deserve a tiny desk given the timing of it and how old their career is.
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
So it's all of that. Yeah.
And also I should mention too, there was they actually had 3 Genius verified videos, Like what?
Yeah.
Okay, and all of them were released like I think is leading up to the release of this record here, right? So yeah, I mean when it comes to clips, well you weren't there for this one, but it was myself, Doughboy and Randerson. Shout out to Doughboy and Randerson. Yeah, we talked about Lord Willing when it dropped. Sorry,
Right.
when it celebrated its 20th anniversary. Sorry,
Right.
we as in myself, as in me and as in myself and Ricardo. Sorry, yeah, we talked about Daytona when it dropped in 2018.
Right.
We talked about It's
Right.
Almost Dry when it dropped in 2022, I
Right.
believe it was, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, just from the jump, right? Just from 2002, right? I can't say from 98 or 99 when their first record actually dropped. But yeah, the moment Lord Willing dropped back in 2002 and Grinding became like the national anthem for us, we were in secondary school at the time. So yes, there were lots of memories that we had of just banging them tables, bam, 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 bam,
Yeah.
bam, you know what I mean? That was us, right? And boy, as I said in that Lord Willing review, boy, when the remixes dropped, especially one with the dancehall artists like Sean Paul, Cardinal Official, who is not a dancehall artist, but he incorporates Jamaican dancehall into his music. Yeah, I mean, we went nuts. That was our remix. That was a remix for us. But yeah, Lord Willing and Clipse, you know what I mean? Just they became part of our lives, you know what I mean? And then of course, Hell Had No Fury, which many people argue is their best record. For me, it's one that I have to I love it, but I haven't listened to it in
Right.
years. But
Right. Me
I'll
too.
confess,
Yeah.
when I did the Hip Hop Sub 10 show back in 2023, I believe it was. Yeah, a couple of guest speakers, yeah, ranked that as one of their top 10 favorite albums of all time. It's like, oh shit, like I
Right.
really need to go back and listen to this, but like I was missing out on something, boy. But the points that they made a lot of sense. I'll bring it up in my review here, right? Where the sense that the Neptunes, right? Back when they were the Neptunes, right? When Pharrell was back in the Neptunes, sorry. Yeah, it was just a darker version of the music that they were known for in the 2000s, and then in particular the sort of like grimy yet club friendly music that they were designing for the clips, right? But yeah, in this one it was darker, it was more menacing and whatnot. And I'll just say this one time, I saw shades of this in this new album here, right? But yeah, for us though, just to wrap up the preamble here, right? For us, what gave us hope now of a possible Clipse reunion, right? Because remember the split after the release of Till the
Right.
Casket
I
Drops,
don't.
which
Yeah.
was
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if had all that drama that caused them to split. Like I forget the guy who was the producer,
Oh
like
no,
jail
no,
for
no! It
drug.
was the
Yeah.
manager, the former
Right.
manager. Yeah, he got
Right.
caught on some drug charge, like real serious
Right.
drug charge.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it's real shit for them.
it's real shit for them, right? But yeah, at the
Right.
end of It's Almost Dry, man. There was that track with Pusha and Malice calling himself Malice, and dropping what
Right.
is, in my opinion, the best verse of that year, right? I mean, we were in awe of it. I remember you just loving the production and how ominous it
Mhm.
was. I mean, yeah, just the production that still gives me chills every time I think about it, right? But yeah, that feature gave us hope, man, that yeah, the Clipse will reunite, right? I keep saying the Clipse, right? But whatever. But yeah, I mean, so said, so done. Cut to 2025 here. And now we have Let God Sort 'Em Out, right? And then, of course, with East Trumpets being the lead single and whatnot, it is not, no, it is not, however, my favorite cut out of that album. I'll get to that in a bit, right? But yeah, the
Right.
moment we heard East Trumpets and it was Pharrell, it was Pusha T and Malice together on that clip shit again, boy. I was like, yeah, this
Yeah,
could be. We call it one time. This could be a EOTY contender. This could be
yeah.
EOTY at the time of us talking here. This could be album of the year, right? But yeah, before we jump into the album here, Ricardo, seeing that you were there for the Lord Willing anniversary review. Yeah, just your quick run through of your digestion of Clipse's music over the years and how you felt with this album coming out.
Always a fan of the Clips. I never follow Malice post Clips career. And I always thought, well, if Kanye doing the his Jesus stuff, he should get Malice on that. But to find out after the fact, oh yeah, right, we kind of now know why that's the case. Malice kind of always hated he from a while back. But yeah, just the career, as I say, from since high school, dominate the track to a lot of people. Mostly followed Pusha T's career after they split up. That was really solid stuff. The stuff with Kanye is really good. Love that thing. The stuff with oh gosh, I forget. Basically with his good music career. Stuff on track with what's the name of that song with two chains on them. Shit.
Or
Yeah,
not oh
Mercy,
gosh,
Mercy,
Mercy. Yes, yes,
Mercy.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mercy was a banger.
Yeah.
Mercy was a
Yeah,
banger.
exactly. Yeah, he always had the verse. He always had, it's like, Push always have the strongest verses, or almost the strongest verses, among the strongest verses, He always there, right? And so it's that, and so coming up. And yeah, I didn't know why they split up exactly. I just knew that Malice was like kind of Christian and he could went Christian. No, I was like, okay. It could just be that, not realize. I don't know like the real drama story behind it. Because they talk about it in the plane. It's an old interview, actually. Because I never saw that interview until recently. But yeah, it's all of that, and so everything coming back to this album, to hear this album coming out with Malice coming back, but the context of Malice coming back is really interesting. And yeah, Malice kind of like hot take. I don't know if this is a hot take, because a lot of people kind of agree with this, which is yeah, Malice kind of dominate this album, to be honest.
Oh yeah, he
Uh,
did. He did.
yeah,
I'm gonna
like
talk
almost
about what he was able to do,
yeah,
without, I would say, alienating his no malice fans, right? But more on that later.
right, exactly, yeah. That part of it is why what kind of pulled me in, and then yeah, we kind of get into like a lot of interesting conversations about uh you know what they're talking about, how they maturing as rappers, and then the concept now they kind of bring into I'll put this as the true tipping point of the idea of mature rappers, because now we get into this debate about young rappers versus older rappers, and what the height of hip hop, it's the rise of popularity and who doing what and why, and especially with the context of people like, well, yeah, the Clipse, Malice, yeah, past 50. Like, I don't think of that, right? Uh, Jay-Z himself, Nas, and just this newer conversation, especially with the kind of not feud, but just kind of sniping behind the scenes kind of shots that Pusha pushed to Travis. Travis calling them all is hilarious because Travis is in his mid 30s, so it's like, oh, okay, well, that's silly, but whatever. But yeah, it bringing up a bunch of conversations about just the quality of rap, the fact that this album just is a while we haven't heard like just good quality of rap as it is, and then the timing of it as well. Again, this come out the same time a popular like comic book movie come out, so that is, if you're a fan of both, and then well, I super hyped for when Fantastic Four coming out, and Alfredo 2 coming out. It's like there's a whole hype on its own. Like just all of these nice little pop culture things coming together for us. Yeah, but this album, this is a nice. The lead up to the album is brilliant. Like again, whoever was designing this whole thing, and what to do and when to release stuff was they're the guy Emmy, right? They just did such a great job of just getting us be aware of this album, hyping it, putting it out, videos, all the stuff they put out, and then stuff that was leaked, but you're not sure if it was intentionally leaked. stuff that wasn't leaked, you know, the show going on there, and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's a really hype coming to moment thing. And from since college, as I say, no desk or locker was safe since the days of since high school because of because of the Clipse, right? So it's that. Yeah, they have a nice stamp on hip hop culture and my pop culture life growing up. So there's that. So, I don't know. Just I was really hyped for this album. They did a great job leading us into this album, and then the album just turned out to be like just amazing and rated much higher than I expected to. Guys, seeing people giving it perfect scores and these kind of things, like what? All right, and I wouldn't even do that, but like yeah, I could understand why you might do that. No, listen to it multiple times. It has pretty much dominated, my week, the entire week of music. So yeah, let's get into it.
All right, so this is not gonna be like a track. It's not gonna be like a album review per se, but there's more thoughts in it, right? Because a lot of people have like reviewed this anyway, right? And we are a little late to the show, but we're still gonna share our thoughts nonetheless, right? So for me, right, I think that just the framing of this record starts perfectly with the first track, "The Birds Don't Singer," and
Right,
thank you, Ricardo, for giving me the little warning. This
right,
yeah, literally on the day after my dad passed away, right? Because yeah, boy, I knew it was gonna touch on death. I knew it was gonna touch on a parent dying, but I didn't think that it
right,
was gonna be both parents, boy. And I
right.
will not lie, this track really, really, really hit home for me. But I was like, wow.
Yep.
And Ricardo,
Mhm.
you're actually right. The music is somber. And
Right,
even by it still has the Pharrell isms and whatnot, right? Especially with the
right, right.
sampling and whatnot, the vocal samples in the background. Yeah, but it still works, right? And boy, it's Malice and Pusher being vulnerable because they're each talking about the day of, right? Realizing
Right,
that their
right,
mother or father, and father, sorry, passed away, right? And from what I read on Genius, yeah, it was 4 months apart, boy. So like the mom died,
right.
and then 4 months afterwards, the dad died, boy. It's so sad. And no lie, that hook from John Legend really stuck with me.
Yep.
The birds don't sing, they screech in pain.
Yeah.
And shout out to Genius for this, sir. So I found out that phrase actually came from believe it or not, Werner Herzog of all people, because he
Okay.
did a
Right.
documentary in the early '80s for more or less kind of like his version of oh gosh, I forgot the behind the scenes doc for Apocalypse Now, but it's something similar to that,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he
Right.
did one for his film Fitzcarraldo, which is still
Right.
on my
Right.
to watch list, but it's more or less talking about the making of it and how strenuous it was, right? But yeah, there was a moment where he says, I hear these birds, but they're not singing, they sound like they're in pain, right? So that's where the hook come from, right? But yeah, this song really, really, really hits, boy. And it's not just done to make you feel sad or whatnot, right? It really frames where these two individuals are, right? And I'll talk about that in a second, right? I especially love the end and the outro because when I first heard it, go I do I just I will listen to like the album twice, right? And then after I'll jump into Genius and just read up all the lyrics and whatnot, right? So my third listing, I found out that it was Stevie Wonder who did the outro, and it's so
Right.
beautiful. But what he's basically saying, for those who have lost their parents, you need to show them love. You need to show that you do care about them.
Right.
And yeah, every time I hear that, boy, I just feel a little something, a little
Yeah.
something in my eye. Well, I just really
What?
feel
What?
it. Love this track
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. What interesting about this album is what is about this track is that this could have easily been the last track. Like it's something that feel like a last track, right? Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
for me
yeah.
at least.
Like if it was something
Yeah.
like if it came out in the 2000s, for example, this would have been the
Right.
perfect album closer. Something very
Right. It
sentimental and
feels like.
warm, and it
But
just
then
ends.
right, but it puts us a great opener, and it works as an opener. It just to set the tone and say, okay, this is where they are, very vulnerable, but then flips it back and said, no, 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 this is how we live as it is, and so it just sets it kind of an interesting inversion, right? Like it sets a nice tone of vulnerability and then frames it back to say, okay, this recontextualizes how you think about us, or at least the caricatures of ourselves that we put forward in the music. Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. Like to put it like that, man. Like, yeah, again, really strong, powerful opening door. So yeah, that is hardness.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And then from there, here's where you get more of the Hell Hat No Fury Pharrell though, because yeah, he's
Right.
coming with some like dark menacing beats though, but they have a
Yeah.
bounce it though, they
Yeah.
will
Oh,
have you not in your head though. Chains and Whips boy, that
yeah.
beat
Yeah,
boy
boy.
is
Ah,
so menacing, because you
yeah.
hear this
Yeah.
electric guitar and it's so
Yeah. The background.
bluesy,
Yeah.
that doom doom doom
Yeah.
doom doom doom, like it sounds like an
So this,
intro to like something like True Blood or some or like True
right,
Detective.
exactly.
It
So
has a sort of a dark
as I
vibe
say
to it,
this, this could have easily been this. Listen, if it had come out earlier, this could have easily been on the soundtrack for Sinners or something. Like,
I know, right? Yes,
yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Yeah, and shout out to I forgot the director who did the video for it. 'Cause I saw it yesterday, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that video is kind of brilliant, though. I love
Very
how
hard.
yeah,
Yeah. Very hard.
how
Yeah.
abstract it is, how
Yeah.
the
Very. Yeah.
surreal the imagery is, but how it's rooted into yeah, just the struggle of African
Yeah.
Americans, right? Because
Yeah.
they show imagery of churches and jails and stuff
Churches.
like
Right.
that, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
very sudden. I'm not sure if it's set in Virginia. I should
Right.
read it up and see if it was set there, but I
Yeah, no,
wouldn't be surprised.
it totally has that kind of sudden, modern, sudden gothic vibe to the whole thing. Like, just this beat just comes in and like, whoa, it's real hard. And then, yeah, and the fact that Kendrick is not in the video, but the
That
video
was really
feels like,
interesting. Hmm.
but the video looks at parts that same, was the Kendrick video with, where he just, oh
Oh,
shit, that's slipping my mind right
no,
now.
it reminds me of Element. It has that same sort of style where they'll just
No,
always
but
like it's like a montage of
which,
just imagery of people outside, like people like
what,
everyday people. That
no,
it
but
has a
the
it
part,
has.
the part, the part where Malice and Pusha is in a room. What's
Uh
the name of that Kendrick video? Is that he was just in a room standing up and it just stuff and then a
huh.
gangster. What's the name of that?
Squabble up, squabble up.
Oh, right,
Yeah, it
right,
has
right.
a squabble up
And
look to it.
is that a same feel to the whole thing? And it's like, and then they just have like the person that's mountain Kendrick. They show like a beauty queen or something beauty queen, but it's just that look
Yeah,
and
and
everything
yeah,
else comes across as
this one girl in church,
yeah,
yeah, cursing. I was like, what? Okay, that
yeah,
real
yeah,
though,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, and it's really clever stuff. I really like the video, the visuals, and that I forget the name of that effect, or that stretchy effect, where everything looking like you explode a face in
Like
them video games.
oh, I
Video
more
games
saw it
where they have the models.
like a mirror image, but you kind of
Right,
like you blur it, but you also stretch it too. I should look up what the
right,
name of that technique
yeah,
is,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But yeah, the
Right. But
video had
what it does look like.
uh
What it does look like is when you have models of a game in your video files for the your models for the video game, like Skyrim or something.
uh
Just feel like the stretched out faces because the faces have to like think to fall around a model.
oh
It's
okay
look like
okay
that. Like yeah,
right
if you see the face, you'll know what I'm talking about. Whatever.
right
But
yeah
yeah, it's a really really cool video. I love the video. And then well yeah, Kendrick verse though.
yeah
I
boy
mean,
boy
I
boy
make the joke. I make the joke. Last time Kendrick bring the tennies, and this time he bring the jennies, right?
yes boy
So
that's that
it's
rhyme scheme
nostalgia.
with the
Yeah,
gentrified Gen
yeah,
X ginger
yeah,
they just do
yeah,
this gen to the very end.
yeah,
And
yeah,
in
yeah.
retrospect, right, that last line with the whole Trump thing, I like really Def Jam.
Right, right, right,
That's why they went nuts over like this,
right.
like all this serious, really.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
They
nothing, Dre. That was
well, I mean,
nothingness. But
people get into
it's
this
a great
whole
final liner. But it's like that's what
right,
they make a big song and dance about. Like, all this
right, right.
serious, really?
But they don't want to get, they don't want to have both Pusha and thing come on. And in my head, I was like, yeah, Kendrick and Pusha had to do something soon enough. And we get to this. And this is it. Much like with nostalgia, him doing the 10 thing, you give the gen thing, and it's like, oh, this is real hard though. And it just comes together really well. Possibly strongest verse on the album, possibly. But we'll get it. We can have a couple other like great lines coming down in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
P.O.V is another bang as well too.
Right,
For Tyler the Creator, who I tell us recorded this, is dropping his new album tomorrow.
right, right,
Don't touch your glass, which is kind of weird because he's a guy who just put out albums every 2 years. He's been
right.
known for that, right? And now he just up and decide, yeah, I just gotta drop this thing like because Clipse have an album now, and I think Clipse is gonna be on his album, which makes still sense anyway, right? But yeah, I mean, this is the collab that I know that he was waiting on for years now. So yeah, I mean, he fit right in. He fit perfectly under Pharrell's dark beat, and of course, how Clips approach it as well too. That hook and just how Pusha delivers it. I love that. Just that P.O.V. kill loose in my
Yeah,
Maybach, take M check
yeah.
down south. That sticks
But
with you, boy. That sticks with you so much.
you have my, instead of saying my back, which is like, all right.
Oh yeah, my back.
um,
Yes.
yeah, but but I just really like just this is my personal favorite track. it just infectious. It's just the one that is total airway but stick in my brain.
Yeah, and it's the
The
cockiness that I love
instrumental,
from everybody. Even
yeah,
Malice though, he got a nice little beat switch
right, you know,
on the third verse. Like what? Okay,
yeah,
and I just love like in this case, right? This is where he talking about yeah, why I'm back in this, right? Okay, thinking oh I Christian, I shouldn't be talking about coke or whatnot, right? But I
right,
love that he have a line where he just says, yeah, I came back for the money. That's the devil in me. That's a
yeah,
great line. That's a great line. It makes
yeah,
sense now, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
yeah, this track is pure fire. I love it. That beat is just, dark fun, right? But I love it. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, this has so many great one-liners. I've got like the last track had which is why I'll destroy your heaven for the hell of it. That's I
yes.
mean, come on.
I mean, come on,
But
man.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I just this one is the one that stick with it. This is one where this is the villain team song in a movie, just walking
Yes.
down, effing up somebody. Like it's just such a badass song, and it just have me thinking. This one is I keep playing this one over. This one
Mm,
dominate movie. Total like villain music and music movie villain music, but it hard, real hard.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Love the
Now,
track. And yeah. And then the way call him Tyler had like a really banger verse.
yes,
Great verse.
yes,
And
yes.
line well the classic line of course is with this boy Pusher move Dirty Whites from Auschwitz.
Yes.
Um like from Auschwitz. I'm like, alright, that hard. Like
Mm,
yeah, they cook it here.
yeah,
This
yeah.
come together. Yeah, really but personal favorite track in the entire album is great.
Right. Now, uh, my personal favorite is So Be It, boy. The
Right.
moment I heard the
Agreed.
intro to this, I was like, this song's for me, boy.
Yeah.
Because of
Right,
this
so yes,
sample, I
right.
just
So
fell
I
in
when I
love with that sample so much, but I was like, this
yeah.
is my shit. I love this. I love this.
Right. When I listened to it on Apple, it have a different beat, and I don't know what happened here exactly because it changed it. And well, somebody go tell me the full narrative of why they changed the track and why change back the track. Because there's a different beat that everybody says quote unquote the Count Dracula beat.
Okay.
Or the Count Dracula version. Actually, I can find it on YouTube. Just look up the Count Dracula version or alternate version that they call Part Two. But the
mm,
one I'm familiar with is the one the film with the video, which
yeah.
is the Tal Al Mada sample.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
yeah,
I
that's the one
love
I
I love
like the
that
most.
music video by the way, especially the use of
Yeah.
lighter. Okay, so
Yes.
let's us gushing quickly about the video, right? There's one shot that I love, and this is where Malice is saying. And by the way, his verse is
Yeah.
one of the best verses I have heard all year. There's one that rivals it that I'll get to just now. So that
Right.
line where he says "Fly him in, fly him out, only the baddest" is where you
Yeah.
see the silhouette of Pusher doing the movement with his hands though. I love that shot so goddamn much though. But yeah,
Yeah.
that beat I love just that infectious that it's just the rumble though of that bass and
Yeah.
just the exoticness of the sample as well too, right?
Yeah.
Especially when
Yeah.
it gets to that
Yeah.
hook with that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. Of course,
And
this
yeah,
is
I forget.
culturally inappropriate
Right.
stuff that keeps dropping. I will talk about that near the end of my review, right? But yeah, I love this song. But Malice, boy, that verse is one of the best I have heard all year. But there's one that is just as great. But yeah, your thoughts on Soviet?
Yeah. This beat is real hard, and again, it's just the Tal Almada sample. He's sort of Saudi Arabian musician. I forget where he's from. But it just comes together, and I forget who does do this when they just show you how the beats is chop up and then show you the final product. And yeah, it just
Or
I
that
mean
that
Pharrell.
that one YouTube channel.
I forget the name of it. But
They
yeah,
need to do something with that. They need to like literally show me the vinyl or where that song came from.
right.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
they'll tell you the source. It have a bunch of them will do it, but this is the one that'll show it in the waveform, and they'll show the animations and then transform the animations into the current waveform. Like is that channel? I forget the name, but yeah, they will come. They'll come through with it, and this beat was just so good and so thing. It is one of the stronger beats. You're correct.
Yes, exactly. So as far as the verse that could rival Malice's own on Soviet, is his own on East Trumpets, boy. Like
Right.
boy, that's a verse, boy, to be inspired by, Dread, in terms of rhyme schemes. Just the way how it always ends with ah or us. So it's always like vodka, choppers, shoppers,
Right.
NASA, Mahatma,
Right.
Mufasa. And he just, I could tell he just having so much fun with it. Just right out him saying, you was Fujilala, I was Alibaba, dressed in House of
Right.
Gucci, made from selling Lady Gaga. Like,
Right.
come on, man. But yeah, that
Right.
verse is goated in my opinion. That and the one that he did on So Be It is two of the
You
best
can't
I've
you
heard
can't wrap,
all year, Trey.
yeah, you can't wrap your head around this you ain't Arab. Some God did you not call it.
Yeah. Right.
Not hard. I
From
realize.
So Be It. But about the song
Right.
itself,
Right.
right? About the song
Yeah.
quickly. I love Pharrell's beat for this, right? There's
Yeah.
sort of an elegance it, but it has this sort of like nighttime feel to it. Like that's why
Yeah.
in the verified video, there was compared it to like Miami Vice or something like that. Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like it's nighttime in Miami, Dread, and you just there with this drunken kid in this party, this club in VIP, right? And and just that hook boy is so infectious, especially with that ballerinas doing pirouettes inside of my snow
Right.
globe. It just
Right.
the visuals that they conjure up to is magnificent. I love this beat. It's darker, but there's a allure to it, right? It's just like, yeah, boy, you wanna be the bad guy in this case, and you wanna be throwing ones, you know what I mean? If you're this hour scene, you wanna
Right.
be that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucks with this track. But yeah, your thoughts on
Yeah.
these trumpets.
Yeah, yeah. This is the one that started it. Again. That's that ding 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 and the piano coming through. I like, yeah, they cook it here. And yeah, I just again really strong verse from both of them. Again, Malice just coming out and shining. No, I like the thing is not like Pusha T some slouch or anything like that. And I think it's a big factor. Just we just did hear from Malice in a hot minute, like for me at least. So it's like, oh shit, I forget like he updated him. And he just like had some hard lyrics that coming through. So yeah, real strong, powerful track, real good. Yeah, totally understand why they released this one.
Yeah. Now this was a track that admittedly I had to warm up to, all things considered, because the beat has this kind of like cool minimalism tit, right? But I dig it, right? And then in particular Pharrell's hook, which is decent, grew on me over time, right? But it fits with the kind of moody, kind of chilled out vibe of it, right? In particular, the outro that The Dream, if you remember, The Dream does, right?
Right?
Very weekend esque, right? But it
Yeah,
works,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's more meant to be like a mood setter. Like when you read the lyrics, it's like, all right, like there's not really much he's saying,
No,
but
yeah,
it's more setting the mood of like
I,
just this chilled out vibe of the song, which I dig.
right.
Yeah.
I didn't hear from the Dream since he did that track with Pusha now some years ago.
What was
Oh
it again,
gosh.
boy?
Something my mind where you talk about with this boy with this niggas haven't been to church in a while, but they find God when they see the tech or something like that. What's the
Uh,
name of that track, boy? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
can't remember, yeah.
Yeah, 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 but it's that. But yeah, so I haven't heard from this dude in a while, and I was like, oh shit, like I kind of forget what his song like, to be honest. I was like, oh yeah, right. Yeah, he's kind of like the Weekend. He's like the Weekend who didn't blow up. Yeah, he always felt like that to me. But yeah, this is alright track. It's not the strongest, but not like the weakest or anything. I give you get to why I consider the weakest, at least for me.
Right.
But this is still this one is just a
Yeah.
that piano that's higher going. I was like, yeah, this solid.
Right, but one key moment that a lot of people like will pull from this, right, is Pusha's verse where he mentions that like his wife had a miscarriage though, like recently.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So you see how their son wanted a sibling and they didn't get through now. But that's that sort of like and then right afterwards, going back to the whole threats and all that kind of stuff, right? So yes, he could be vulnerable, but you see that as like, no, don't let that vulnerability get to you though. Like I could still fuck you up, Jay. That's what I love about it, right?
right,
Um then we get M.T.B.T.T.F, which is Mike Tyson
right,
blow to the face, right? And for
right.
me, boy, this has this 90s Mob Deep Raekwon kind of
Yes.
grimy boom bap to it, though, right? It's just grimy mafioso shit, right? But I will lie, yeah, I was just wondering what that acronym means, and then when you hook up,
Right,
it's like,
right.
oh shit, that's what it
Yeah,
means, right? What,
right.
what I love, though, just in particular, is just how the beat is, like every time Pusha and Malice start at first, like they would just do 8 bars, right? And you wouldn't hear any music, but just hear the sample, easy high. You just hear that in the
Yeah.
background, right? And then the beat
Yeah,
coming like dum,
I wonder
dum,
where they get that
dum.
from. That's what a Spinderella line or something like
I
that.
I
Who's saying
don't
that?
know, and Genius,
It's
no,
sounding like
nobody in
an
Genius
old
pick it up as
old
yet.
track.
I
Right,
don't know if it's a sample from a show or as I say,
right.
from a song, right? But it's catch you off guard, right? But yeah, it's pure like 90s gangster shit. Well, I should say hardcore hip hop, right?
Yeah,
It has in particular, especially when the beat kicks in, it really feels like what Havoc was doing with the production on like Mobb Deep's
right.
records, right? And whatnot, right? But it's just that acronym though, just Mike Tyson blew to the face and how they hype it
Yeah,
out, how they zero it in, especially Malice in the end when you talk about she want Mike Tyson blow to the face. I'm talking 96 hole for the bass. Like, all right,
right.
all right, all right. And I'll
Yeah,
close this, right?
real hot.
Dog. You niggas is screenwriters, we dream writers. Took change and touched chains like King Midas. Imitation is flattery, they seem like us, but only 300 bricks can make you Leonidas.
Right.
I
Classic.
had nothing
Great.
to say after that. I had
Yeah,
nothing else
I
to
don't
say.
know.
Like
Right.
Malice
Well,
dog.
yeah,
Malice,
tough
what you
balance.
doing, bro? What is
Yeah,
this?
no.
But yeah, thoughts on Mike Tyson's blow to the face. Are they even gonna
Yeah,
say the acronym wrong?
this one of the this one of the ones that stick out for people for again. Not my favorite. That goes to P.O.V. But yeah, it's up there. This is my top three actually. This was just real hard. It has built up. It started with the no instrumental. And this you hear the sample comedy. Then it's like, all right, they're really nice. Yeah, this was hard, real hard. Again, really funny bit. Again, not a drug reference, but it really works and is solid stuff.
Yeah. Now going back to Lord Willing now, I feel like the following track, E.B.I.T.D.A, is kind of harkening back to like, the radio friendly Pharrell music, right? Well, Neptune's music, right?
Right.
Because yeah, I like how airy and sunny and just chill out the beat is, right? Even though, yeah, I mean, Clipse still touching on the drug shit or whatnot, right? But what I like is there's a sort of like a reflective nature of it, right? Like where yes, we all made it. We driving fancy cars. We living in life now. But we had to look back at where we come from. The rough, the humble beginnings where we came from and whatnot, right? But yeah, so I like that sentiment of the song as well. And yeah, just how the beat sounds and it's very upbeat. It's very upbeat given like the dark material that you hear on this track in particular and other tracks as well too, right? And yes, I had to look up and be like, oh, this is what E.B.I.T.D.A means, which is earnings before interest, taxes,
Right.
depreciation, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
amortization, which is shit
So
that in my
this
40s I need to learn about because yeah,
right. So
I need
this
to
is
get
them
my
getting to
finances
the
up, bro. But yeah,
right,
your
right.
talk.
Yeah. This them getting to the money bag and telling you, the money that running it and how the because then the
Yeah.
next track also like references money stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, this also really strong track. Really enjoyed it, had fun with it, and I dig the hell out of this one too. It's like all right, they flow it here and these kind of things. So they working it, making it work.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Another favorite track of mine, boy, is Fico, right?
Yeah, FICO.
FICO. Sorry, I say
Oh,
Fico, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
FICO. Right. Money,
Yeah.
more money,
More,
more
more, more
references
money,
money.
more money, right? Yeah, more
Yeah,
money, right?
they get into what I like about it, they get into the whole laundering, criminal corruption aspect of money and with drugs. Now I like that, like it playing with that conceit and blending it into the album itself, and I like that all of that working into it. Like okay, this funny, that's clever, this thing, Europe fashion. They
Yeah.
make all of that. They blended it really well. And again, it make perfect sense. Guys their age doing this. It's
Yes.
not something that. Cause that's one of the problems with thing and why Jay Z like flourished the way he did. It's like a young person doing like mob stuff don't make any sense. Like you had to be at least in your 30s or whatever it is to do this, and that's why it again we get into the whole age aspect of adult contemporary hip hop now, especially in our modern age. It seems to fit right. I don't know. It just fit in the time and fit in the space with it. So yeah, you get
Right.
into that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so fun fact, they actually recorded this in Paris, right? While Pharrell was doing
Right,
his old Louis
right.
Vuitton run, right? Which I mean, like
Yeah,
think about it, right? This was the mode, this was the setting of this album, Dread. So you could tell
yeah,
that they were real feeling themselves on this, right? But dog, as far as rhyme schemes go, this is one of the best I have seen in years, Dread. I don't know how to describe it, right? But basically it's like this, right? Let me just take 3 bars, for example, right? That they rhyme in. So 3 bars, 3 bars, 3 bars, right? They have a way that they will take the second bar and then make that rhyme with the fourth. Well, sorry, the okay. So 1, 2, 3, right? So they'll take the second bar and make it rhyme with the fifth one, and then they'll make the
right.
third one rhyme with the sixth one. So example, they'll be like this, right? Let me just read it out here. I would have them take a number like DMV. That was the baseline. Check out unregistered one. Miami niggas like Big Perm because the numbers was phase on. Cuban show me nothing but love. But when it comes down to it, every stringer bell just sees an Avon who wouldn't sweep it under the rug. On the road with a low nigga brake line, I knew where to place mine. I don't keep the gun in the glove. If you understand what I'm saying. So both of them keep doing that. They take
Yeah,
the last 2 bars and just keep rhyming it with every subsequent bar. They just keep rhyming it like that to the very end. And both Malice and Pusha do that. Like I just reading it on Genius and hearing it for myself, but I was like, how they pull this off? Like the
yeah,
mindset, how they sat down and figured this shit out, right? But to me, what makes this thing work is my boy Stove God Cooks and that hook that
yeah,
he does. I know a lot of
yeah.
people like I don't know if you into Griselda music, like West Side
Right.
Gun, Benny the Butcher, Conway and whatnot. But yeah, this guy. So God Cooks has been coming through with some of the best features I've heard in their music, right? And it's that sort of dark. He has this very dark humor about him. The way how he's talk about coke rap, right? That's the lines that he says, and yeah, he do the singer. Do the sing. He's not the best singer in the world, but when he sing, he just has this kind of like just the way how his voice sounds. It always stands, all right. But yeah, in this one is his style and it's just the humor. Like the last line he says, "Fresh Prince jacket boy, I cook him till the inside out." I didn't get until I went on Genius, and like how this kind of like highlight a line, right? I click on it and I saw is one of what this shot of Will, right, in Fresh Prince when he's in college. If you remember the sort of like
Right.
red
So when he was in high
jacket he have
school,
on, yeah, that
he's
I
but
like.
yeah,
Oh
you flip it
shit.
inside out. Yeah.
Yeah, I like, oh
Yeah, it's
shit,
from the high
that's what you
school.
see it.
Yeah.
That's what you see it. But yeah,
Yeah.
FICO, I love this track. I love this track. But yeah,
Yeah.
any thoughts on FICO, especially in particular the hook and the rhyme schemes in the song here?
A really strong track. It make it work again. Leaning all the money, the more money team stuff, later money team stuff. You're really sure if the source of the origins of the wealth and how it been effectively laundered through businesses or whatever it is. And yeah, they making it work. Yeah, it's a really strong track. Great hook too as well. Love it.
Yeah. So another favorite of mine, boy. Like the moment I heard this story, I was like, okay, this is that 2000s Lord willing kind of shit, right? Or you could argue maybe it's from like the mixtapes that he did, right? With the Rehab Gang,
Right.
right? Inglorious Bastards, boy. Boy, just that beat, boy, especially the horns, boy, that
Yeah.
dun dun dun, dun, and I don't know what it is, but it's some kind of percussion that you're hearing in the background. So when it's mixed with the horns, but it just has this real crisp sound to it, boy, and it's just so infectious. I love it so much, right? But yeah, boy, Pusha and Malice just going nuts over this, boy, just having fun with this. And I love Abliva, who is part of Rap Gang. You remember him from Hot
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
from Goddamn. I'll talk about that too
Yeah.
near the end as well too of my review. Yeah, just coming through with that great verses as well, right? But yeah, just the bounce, but just the energy of this too. I love the beat and just this song in general. But this Pharrell's beat on this way, I love this track so much. I love it so much. But yeah, thoughts on Inglorious Bastards? Do you agree with me? This beat hard, or you don't
Very
care for
hard.
it?
Agreed. Very hard. It come together again. This is a track I don't visit all that much, mostly because of stuff like P.O.V. and Lord, all the earlier tracks exist. But yeah, this is really strong track, as I say.
All right, so up next, the album starting to wind down here. So we have So Far Ahead, which is a solid track, right? I like that it's slow. All right, so it has that sort of like Hell Hat No Fury kind of like menace with it, especially with the
Yeah.
synths and whatnot. But then on the hook, you get the sort of like let me just say these gospel swells or whatnot, right? You hear the when Pharrell does the hook, which is one that grew on me because it's him
Right.
doing the falsettos, right? It's that's what he
Yeah.
does. That's what he's been doing since time immemorial, or whatever. I know there are some people who just don't care for when he sings, but if that's what he man is do, that what he does, eh? And he on some braggy shit on that hook, boy. And
Yeah.
what saw with the verified video was basically, yeah, that was the vibe that they was going for. Like they heard the hook, sorry. I say, oh, that's what you're going for. Okay, let me just sort of match that, right? But for me, as much as I really enjoy Pusha's verse, so I think Malice steals the show here, right?
Right.
Especially the way, just the bars that he drops, though, like, look at me post Armageddon, walking with my dog, I am legend. I mean, come on, man, come on, right? I just love, like, in the second half of his verse, right? Where, he does this, I done been both Mason Betters, I done been at both intersections, and I pulled oceans a level. Even when the well ran dry, and then rates quotes in the desert. They just see way how he rapping in that
Yeah.
partner. Coke and Alexis, we both did the blessings. They just keep going like that to the end. Like, all right, Malice, yes, Malice, do that. You could tell like he was like this, the spirit catch him there. And he just
Yeah.
like going all in on this though. But yeah, his verse in that is great in my opinion. But it's not my favorite track there, but just the sentiment of it and the sound and the vibe and what they're going for. Yeah, it works for me. But yeah, any thoughts
Right.
on So Far Ahead?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I really like the track again. Yeah. As I say with the Malice lines, I was supposed to get to that. yeah. That I enjoy what he just the pacing of it. It comes together. For else, vocals is solid. I see people complaining about it, but like, no, he's singing fine here. It's decent. Yeah, a really good track as I say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So now for the penultimate track, Let God Sort 'Em Out, Chandeliers, right? Um,
Right.
This is what, well, I should say this extended verse that we get here is another example of, okay, it happened before on the album, right? Yeah, where Pusha and Malice, well, it happened on the E.D.I., whatever it is, right? Yeah, they do this sort of a tag team kind of thing, right? But honestly, it's to the point where I don't even know who is who. And even
Right.
on Genius, you don't even state if Pusha says a line or Malice says a particular line. They just say the both of them. So yes, is the two of
Right.
them doing this extended verse, but they just do it so effortlessly that you're not sure if it's who say what to who say what, right? But yeah, they just
Right.
bounce it back and forth, covered up with some grimy ass bars, you know what I mean? Well, one of them say, that ain't the ghost that you appear to go get. Finally got the courage, but you still a whole bitch, right? Stuff like that. And when I heard that, finally got the courage, but you're still a whole bitch, I was thinking,
Yeah.
admittedly, courage, you cowardly dog, get dog,
Right.
bitch. I was thinking about that. I just keep going with these grimy ass bars, right? And I enjoyed all this stuff, even though I wish I knew who was saying what. That's just my
Right.
one minor gripe though. I wish I knew who was saying what. Like on the EB track though, at least you know who was saying what. In this one, they sort of jumble each other up, so you're not really sure who, right? But what makes this track work for me, and I know it'll be the same thing for everybody who listens to this way, is chandeliers and how that leads in by.
Yeah.
And the beat itself sounds almost like the spiritual sequel to So Be It, because it has this sort
Right.
of like Middle Eastern kind of sample, but then it gets a little more grandiose, right? Because of the title now, Chandeliers. As we boy, Nas boy, just covered it like,
Yeah.
yep, I still on that shit. I still showing people right now why I'm still what the GOAT in the game right now, even
Right.
though I cross 50. And yeah, he just ends the song off perfectly, boy. That man's verse is one of the best I've heard from him in a long while. I will not lie. But yeah, your
Yeah.
thoughts on Let Go Turn Them Out /
Yeah.
Chandeliers.
I don't know if this was like a strong Nas feature. Like it was a solid Nas feature, but it didn't stick with me. I think especially with the feature he does on oh gosh, this album would just come out now against Jim Jones.
Not Rick
So
one,
for my
no.
Rick thank you. Right, yeah,
Oh,
Rick
yeah,
yeah,
that's on my to listen list, right? Because it's Rick one,
right,
right? I mean, yeah.
yeah. But on the Rick album, they make it that work as it is. That is really really well done. Thing. So this feature was fine. Like it's still Nas. It's not like the quality. Quality could only go solo to be honest. But like it was. It could have been better. Like I don't know. It didn't stick with me as it was in comparison to Kendrick and Tyler. It was thick, but it's still fine and a decent enough boost. A
Yeah.
little disappointed, slightly, but
All right.
not too much. It's like, oh yeah, still a decent listen.
I think it is because it fits within the whole not just the King's disease, but more of the, oh gosh, was the other album that he did with Hit Boy by
Magic,
Magic, right? Yeah,
magic,
yeah. That it's
yeah,
that magic. I'm in my 50s. Look,
right,
I doing real good. I doing real good, and I'm happy that I'm doing good. Is that and him kind of saying, "Look, I have been called a goat for years now, but now that I reach 50, yes, you know what I mean. Like, is that
right,
kind of vibe that that he going for? That is celebrating his success. That's what he does, right? Even though he take a
right,
little snipe shot at Jim Jones, or at least according to Jesus, that's what they say, right? Yeah.
right. But he outright have like a straight up this verse for Jim Jones in Records album though. But at least
Okay.
the the cut version of it because I don't think it's on the album, but you can find a cut version that was supposed to be there. It's a whole thing. You'll see
Uh,
it.
all right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
And then, well, the final track now, by the grace of God, I mean, just off that title alone, you get the vibe that they're going for, right? I think it nails it, though. It's the perfect send off to this record, right? Because, yes, it has that sort of like gospel vibe as well, too. But
Right.
it more feels, for the end of the song that I was thinking about when I was listening to it again, right? The preparation for this talk, chat here, is ironically My Way from Fractal
Right.
Natura. It has that my way vibe to it, especially with
Right.
Pharrell talking about, I didn't seen this, I didn't experience this, you know what I mean? But look, I've seen it all, but they missed this all by the grace of God now. But basically it's the three of them, right? Pharrell, Pusha and Malice in the 50s basically said, we went through the storm, we went through hell, we went through uncertainties in life. but we held on. We see it strong, right? And I love that. It is always this idea of standing by principle, right? And that's why this song works so well because it goes back to the beginning now, the first track, right? Where even despite the fact that the parents are gone, and even though they spent their early years selling drugs, and then their musical career singing about it, right? Not in a overly like celebratory way, like, yeah, go and sell drugs, but more like, yes, this is what we had to do to make it, right? It was always on that with it in that mindset, right? Like, still, the it was always about overcoming struggle, right? From the start. And on this track, they really like embody that. Like, yes, we went through all this, right? Even though we are in a position right now where, yes, we are still doing the whole coke rap stuff, right? In this case now, it feels more mature. It feels now like, yeah, like, when it comes to that genre anyway, it is always about the whole regrets and all that kind of stuff, right? But here, it's not just about selling drugs. It's just about the movements that they were able to make in their careers, right? For better or for worse, right? The ups and downs that they had to go through. And now they've reached a state where it's like, yeah, we've seen it all. We went through the worst, but here we are, much better than we were before, right? It's so in a way it is like Frank Sinatra's My Way, right? Because they literally did it their way, right? They did what they had to do to be successful, but at the same time they never lost sight of what they were taught, right? Both consciously and subconsciously by their parents as well. So that's why I think that this album Closer, yeah, totally works, man. But yeah, any thoughts on By the
I
Grace of God?
Yeah, yeah, no, this my least favorite track. It not like it bad or anything like that, but I don't know. It's the only one I was actually find myself skipping because I felt like the first track was the one should have been the last track, and that would have worked a little better with this if they didn't merge this somehow or anything like that. Whatever, like who's me to tell Pharrell what to do, right? Whatever. But yeah, this is the only one I can skip it. It already worked for me as it is. But it's fine. Like if you like it, it's fine, perfect, fine. But for some reason, this just don't work for me. Like it's just surprisingly fall flat. As it is, but it's a good enough track if on the album. So yeah, so that's about it for me. That's the only one that's kind of skipped, to be honest.
Right. So to wrap this up, right? So I'll just say, well, two things, and then I'll just get to my general thoughts, right? So the whole "this is culturally insensitive" line that pops up, right?
Inappropriate.
Um,
Yeah, inappropriate.
yeah,
Yeah.
inappropriate. Sorry, inappropriate, right? At first, during Inglorious Bastards, I was a little bit annoyed at how much times he used it because like every
Yeah.
verse it would just pop up like every 4 or 5 lines, whatever it is, right? But
Yeah.
that is intentional because like when you read the bars, it's just basically them celebrating their world, right? But there's a sort of like an irony to the liner, like to that line. 'Cause it's almost like if, oh, you're not supposed to enjoy this because it's these guys in their 50s talking about coke and oh, it's great to sell coke because you make money. But no, that's not what they get at, right? But you can tell that they kind of, it's tongue in cheek. That's what it is, right? Kind of taking shots at people who kind of still think, oh, you should be rapping about this man, right? But anyway, and it also reminds me just to go to Cut Damn, right? I'll never forget hearing the TV version of it, right? That'll be Hot Damn, right? And if you
Right.
remember, there was a little intro that Pharrell did, right? And I just paraphrasing here, right? But you see, where he says, clean up verses, please, or clean the lyrics, please, because
Right.
when you listen to the original version as a goddamn, yeah, it's some grimy ass shit there. So they could put that out, on radio or for TV. So it's like, all right, we need to clean it up, and then when you hear Hot Damn, which I actually like it, even though it pales in comparison to the real version, right? But yeah, when you hear the cleaner version of it, it's like, oh, okay, I get it, and they change some stuff, okay. But it's still grimy, It's just more tolerable to mainstream consumers. That's the best way I could sum it up, right? So I could
Right.
tell, like, for me, I feel like that line that this is culturally inappropriate is kind of just there to be like, oh, you still think us talking about coke rap is a thing? Like this is something that it should be subject to controversy or debate or whatever. No, like that's what Jay-Z kind of explored throughout his career, like, right?
Right.
Where
Exactly. Right.
he was able to make millions off of this, right? But the thing is, it was authentic because he came from that world. He came from that world, and somehow he was able to take what he learned there and maneuver his way so much to achieve success to the point that he don't even have to rap about coke anymore. He could rap about anything. He could rap about, I don't know. He turned, in some graduation performance or some kind of thing, so I make a smash it out of that. He don't need to sing about that shit anymore, right? And I can't say at the moment if Pusha and Malice will do that, like if they will maneuver themselves and do their own 444, who knows, we'll see.
Right.
But where they are, they could maneuver and do other things. Like look, Pusha right now have a coffee. He running a coffee business, right? And he actually
Right.
mentioned one in one bar in a song. I can't remember what song it is, right? But yeah, the point is, even though they came from that griminess of the drug game and whatnot, they still found a way to maneuver themselves into success and longevity as far as their art and whatnot, right? So that leads to my second point, right? So for me, I felt like this record came at just a pivotal time in my life, Trip, because yeah, no lie, with my dad go on now. Yeah, and I will continue to feel like this and continue to ask myself these questions. Yeah, it's just that next step. Where do you go? What do you do? Right? And are you gonna be living your life? To are you gonna be staying true to your what you were taught now by your parents and whatnot, right? Or are you just gonna go on your own path and stray so far from it and whatnot, right? So it's that kind of thing now. So I'm not saying that this album taught me so much life lessons or whatnot, right? Like it's still like a Clipse album, but the idea is it's still like this grimy ass like return to form. I should say this is a return to form when it comes to like the Clipse sound, when it comes to like the griminess that the Neptunes were delivering to them music wise on their first two records, right? So it's a return to form when it comes to that, right? But it's the mindset of it that I love though, and where it really inspired me, right? In the sense that yes, they went on this path and they were able to find an alternate path to success through rap, right? And they were able to change lives and, make millions and all that kind of stuff, right? But they went through hardships in their life too. And that's why I love that the first track is about them experiencing their parents' death, right? I could think that, oh, they should just throw in the towel and quit, right? But you could say in more ways than one, that's how they reunite. That's how they reunite because it's like, yeah, like we kind of have each other now, right? I mean, they have their families or whatnot, but like, yo, we have each other now. Let me just do this thing again, right? And the end result is, yeah, this classic in my opinion, right? So yeah, I could safely say that this album just came at the best time for me, Dre. Just like you took your licks, life beat you down, but you get back up. You take what you were learned, what you learned through your mistakes, what other people taught you, what your parents taught you, whatnot, and you just move forward and you become better people. And you just basically at the end of the day stunt on your haters, right? And that's exactly what they did on this, right? So yeah, I mean, not much more I could say from this point on, but yeah, this is hands down one of the best records of the year. This is up there as far as album of the year contender. I wouldn't be surprised if come mid to late December when I do my best albums, if this makes it to number one, right? But yeah, this
Yeah.
is up there as one of the best for the year at the moment. I'm giving this a strong 4.5 out of 5. This for me is my top favorite Clipse album, right? But that really isn't saying much because Lord Willing is a classic and
Right.
Hell Had No Fury is a classic, right? But maybe one day I'll sit down and listen to those three. I'll forego till the casket drops, right? Because like I said in that Lord Willing review, I dig like I think that the Clipse did what they had to do on that record. It's just that the beats themselves didn't fit them. It was too radio friendly. That was the problem. It was too radio friendly for them. But they didn't disappoint. It's just the beats didn't work, right? But yeah, one day I had to sit down, listen to Lord Willing, Hell Had No Fury, and this record here and be like, all right, which one is my favorite? Which one is my favorite? But for now, this is my favorite. I'll close this, right? I could see myself with more listens bumping up my rating to a 5. But I don't want to do like what Anthony did and give it a 10 just so out of the blue. And other articles and other reviewers give it a 10 just out of the blue or 5 out of 5. I want to give it more time. I want to give it more listens over the next few months. And then by December, once I make up my mind, I can say, yeah, that's a 5. But for it to be a 5, it had to be a number 1 for me. And I could definitely see this as my top pick. But again, I know it have more heat to come out this year, so I'll prepare myself for this one. But boy, the Clipse did not disappoint, and Pharrell did not disappoint. Boy, talk about a return to form. And I'ma shut up. Be Ricardo, your final thoughts on rating.
Yeah, this was a really strong outing. For me, really strong start. I don't think I don't know if it also get album of the year because still have Alfredo to come. But it's gonna be strong. And this was so far this is immaculately produced. Just really really strong material from both Pusha and Malice, and just really really fantastic. Just putting together tracks and just some true hits and some true airworms and bangers. Yeah, I give this a very very high rating, like a 8 out of 10, probably closer to a 9 to be honest. But yeah, I didn't expect this to be as strong as it was. I was thinking, yeah, we're gonna get a Clipse album, it's gonna be good, but not like great. And it was great, like truly great and really fantastic. Yeah, just really happy about this, and just excellent rollout out of the whole thing. So yeah, really really solid stuff.